Hello, and welcome back to Strange Hungers. We're floating out of time. Who knows what day it is? I don't. But last time we were here, last time we left off, Matthias, fleeing from Aldris in the woods, having encountered a strange satyr at one point in his journey, took maneuvers to continue to avoid the hunter on his tail. While back at the party, back at the camp, the rest of the party were shocked to encounter this seemingly very young looking for her age fawn satyr with a whimpering demeanor who requested help in saving Matthias, saying that his life was in danger. And they began to trek their own way through the woods, at one point passing some interesting magical trees, corpse trees as they are called, or something of that nature, trees that were grown from the corpses. Hag trees, it was. Matthias tracked down, looking for a large creature that might get Aldris off of his tracks. He found a large den of some kind with a gigantic creature inside, what he thinks most likely was a render, known for being large, slumbering, hibernating creatures that devour their prey. And a battle was begun after shots were fired between Aldris and Matthias. This creature revealed itself at its full towering height, allowing the rest of the party to reconvene with the group. And Madeira, this young fawn, was revealed to be none other than a hag with the ability to command those around her through the use of blood magic.
Bitch.
We leave off with Matthias and the hag swallowed down by the gigantic creature. And Warden, at the top of your turn, you see the unconscious form of Aldris drop to the ground, dwarfed by the gigantic bulk of this heaving beast, with a slavering mouth, still burned, cut up, wounded from where your party has been harrying it relentlessly. And Matthias, while you are inside this creature, while you are swallowed, you are blinded and restrained, and you have total cover against attacks and other effects outside of it.
Oh, well, that's good.
Good to know.
That's good.
Cool.
Wait, so when you say I'm blinded, because I do have dark vision. How dark is my vision?
Inside? Is he squished?
Is it like you're blind because you're in the dark? You're in the dark, or is it like you're blind because your eyes are up against fleshy mouth insides?
More of the
second one.
Yeah.
Great, love it.
Not that you can't see, but more that all that you see is goo.
It's all goo. It's goo and flesh, and it's on my eyeballs.
And very uncomfortably warm. So yes, Warden, let me make sure we are at your turn here on Multiverse. You've seen your party leader go down the hatch, as it were. What do you do?
I wrote all this down before the end of last session because I was worried I'd forget. I am currently prone, so I'm going to take half my... I planned this. I'm going to take half my movement to get up, and also I need... If anyone's played Shadow of the Colossus, I need you to put the music that happens as they're climbing the Colossus, as Wander is climbing the fucking Colossus, because I'm going to run down onto the head of that thing. Like, do-do-do-do. 1 second, let me just get back onto the actual thing. So how far, because that'll be half my movement. I think I'm 40 feet. Yeah, 40 foot speed. I can get on there with 20 feet, right?
Yes, its entire body is pretty easily accessible.
It's a big guy.
It's covered with moss and this harder skin as well that you can scrape your fingers or claws into.
Yeah, yeah, basically, yeah, I'm shadow closing it. I'm running across the head of it. I want to get to one of the eyes. Because I think that Novel has a pretty good idea of anatomy. Because, you know, you've got to when you're taking so many forms. And there's something usually right behind the eye. And I've got a very long sword.
Yeah.
So, I would like to roll to just skewer.
Okay, give me an attack roll.
Go for the biggest eye. I will use an inspiration for this because this feels like something very important
Okay.
for novel to be able to do. Or if
well,
I
you
don't
are-
roll well, I will use it.
So you are already rolling an advantage because you still have concentration on fairy fire. So this creature
Oh,
is
yeah.
still lit up with your honey glow.
Lit. I feel like this is a very like atmospheric moment, at least for novel, in their mind of just like this is so freaking epic, like background. Okay, let's roll this. Okay.
I'm glad that you're having a good time.
Well, one of us has to.
Fair.
That's a 17.
A 17. And you added your... okay, let me double check. The 17 will not hit.
Damn
You
it.
did attack with advantage, and you added all your bonuses.
Oh, what extra bonus do I get?
Typically, you get if you're raging, you get a +2. Or is that just
Yeah.
the damage?
That's the damage.
+1 bonus to attack rolls.
+1 bonus. Okay.
Actually, no, it's +2. It is actually +2 because my sword is
Remember
awakened
being
and
a
she is
barbarian.
hungry for blood. So that's a
That's
19.
true. A 19 will just hit.
Womp. And considering, like, so vulnerable right now, like, it cannot get me.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, Novel, your sword is magically enchanted. As you drive it down against the skull of this creature,
Oh, not through the
it
skull.
not through the skull, behind the
No.
eye.
Okay, imagine her kind of, like, almost straddling and just going like that, almost between the legs and piercing the eye. And through the eye.
Through the eye, I see. Okay.
Because there is brain behind the eye, usually.
So with a hit, I'm gonna say this. Tell me how much damage you do.
Okay. That is two-handed. Okay, that's 14 plus... I feel like it's usually +2.
Don't listen to me.
Okay. I think it's a... Okay, I think it's 14.
14 points of damage. So, if you sacrifice 10 points of that damage, I will allow you to give the creature the blinded condition.
Yes.
Okay. So the sword cuts against a very thick brow, like scrapes in almost. You would be worried about damaging the metal of your sword if you didn't know it was enchanted and protected against that very thing. As you drive it through, the like socket of this gigantic eye is sunk in so much that you can't get your sword deep enough to like just cut into the brain and kill it outright. But the blood that pours forth from the eyes, splashing down over the face, over the heavy-set nostrils, through the mouth, it starts to whip its head back and forth, nauseating Matthias as you feel yourself slamming against the walls inside, and it is currently
he's like
blinded.
contained very well. Like he's like a very, you know, when you put a peach.
They've
in
got
like
me
a
in the
container,
panini
he's
press.
gotten-
They've got me in the
Yeah.
panini press.
You're pressed and you're just wiggling like this.
It obviously that
The
could be
uncomfortable
calming.
sensation of another figure just bumping against you, and you know who it is. But it is currently blinded. You have another attack if you want to twist, pull out.
If I realized it hasn't gone all the way through, I think I'd maybe like, I don't know, going through bone's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
Thick. Sorry, I'm trying to think now. I was hoping that would be a one and done. I think I'm just gonna do it again on a different eye.
Do it again?
Just
Okay.
make it, because you said it had different several eyes. So
Yes.
maybe that one
It's got
that
a
looks a
bunch
little
of
bit more
eyes.
inset, maybe?
Yeah, the little
So it's like
higher
closer
eye.
to the brain.
Okay,
Like
give
Novel
me
is just
another
like,
attack roll. with
there's a
advantage.
brain somewhere. I will fucking hit it. I'll do another roll. Oh my god, my rolls are terrible today. Still being rude. Oh, that's a 21. Hell yeah. And,
Okay, that will hit. You should have like a plus 10 or something to this weapon.
I do, but I keep getting 4s and 6s. It's
Fantastic.
bullshit.
With a 21 and
Oh,
full
wait,
damage
wait.
on that one as well.
Oh, that was a 10. That was a 10.
10 on damage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me double check if my rage gives me anything.
Your rage
Alright,
gives you
let me
plus 2
double
to
check.
plus 2 to damage.
Okay, so then, yeah, I think I'd get another. It would be 12 then. I think.
12.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not
12
blinding
points
it.
of
So it's
damage.
already blinded.
It's already blinded. So you cut. This one is less of a through and more of a scrape, like gouging with the long sword. It's not a very precise weapon to use, but the force of it is enough to cause damage to this thing. It seems to be mostly moving based on rage now, just
Mood.
pure anger, hard to tell where targets are, just whipping back and forth, frustrated and angry, and it was dumb to begin with. So whatever you're doing is just bestial to this thing at this point. That
kind of bad about that.
is your
I'm gonna
turn, so
stay
you
where
are
I am.
still on... Okay, you're staying on top. You've
Yeah.
kind of locked in with your sword.
Yeah, she's grabbing like hold of the ridge of the eye, and she's just got the sword in, and she's hoping that no one hits her.
Okay. Oh wait, you are hiding.
Please don't kill me.
I have a question.
Yeah?
How tall is this monster?
It's huge. Or larger than huge. It's gargantuan. So I would say at least 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, probably around 35 or 40 feet tall.
So if it's 35 or 40 feet tall and Barden is up on the skull, that means that Barden is ostensibly about 30 feet in the air?
Yes.
Yay!
A little lower. So the skull is
25
set
feet in
on
the air?
top, rather, but more kind of forward in front. It's got this long hunched neck. So maybe more around 25 feet in the air.
25 feet is all I need. Because Runic Blast only has a height of 20 feet.
Ooh, sexy.
It's 20 feet all around. And Matthias isn't going to get hit by it because Matthias is inside. So I would like to cast a little blasty blast on this creature. I'm
Okay.
going to use let's use a 3rd level spell slot on that. I have a +8. No, God, I keep forgetting. This is an area of effect, and we homebrewed it, so it says +8. It's going to need to make a dex saving throw for me.
Okay, a dexterity saving throw.
Yes.
This thing is decently dexterous, but it is blinded, which means it makes all dexterity saving throws with disadvantage.
Ooh.
So that is going to be D20. It got a 12.
All right, that does not succeed. So it's going to take 6d6 runic damage, and it also has disadvantage on... What are we thinking? Con? I'm going to say con because usually that's the kind of save people have to do to not spit things out, and Matthias is swallowed by it. So this creature has disadvantage on Constitution saves until the beginning of my next turn. Yes. So let me roll damage. I only have 2d6, so stay with me. 5 and 11. Not my best roll, but 16 damage. And disadvantage on con save, so if anyone wants to force a con save from this guy.
Okay, 16 damage on this creature, and the unconscious Aldris on the ground, he wouldn't be caught in this blast, or he would, from where you could...
Depending, I have 150 feet of range on this, so I can position it pretty strategically, I think, especially since the creature is so big.
I'm going to say that you would probably position towards the back of the creature.
Yeah.
Which means that runic damage is not... It's not going to do a ton of damage to the cave itself, but it does leave a series of strange imprints on the ground and stone of the back half of this creature, its den that it has emerged from, as it just sends snow flying out.
Okay, that's tight. Oh, I get to leave my little mark on the wastes.
Okay, that is 16 points of damage. it kind of settles back onto its haunches a little bit, like something has poked it from behind and it's trying to squash whatever that was,
Mhm.
and just lets out another sort of gargled sound that once again just jumbles the creatures inside its throat.
Not there, you bitch. Away
Get
says
jumbled.
out loud.
Okay, and Kiara.
Kiara is, at least functionally, we had said that in a previous round that they had run towards Awaish to make sure to be within range if Awaish went down. So Kiara will turn to Awaish and say, "You tell me if you need healing, okay?" And we'll turn back and do something that I would not do, but Kiara's a better person than me. And as a bonus action, she's going to cast Healing Word on Aldris.
Amazing. What
Just
do you say?
just a first level. Kiara will say, "Oi, what?" Basically saying, "Oi, wake up."
Okay.
In Infernal, just because he's from Abjur, or just that Kiara saw him there.
Just
like-
that you saw him there, you're not sure where he's from.
He probably knows his way. He probably knows Abjurian. He's, it's fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she's just gonna very gruffly tell him to wake the fuck up. Let me roll that. So that's just a first level healing word to get him up. Because she wants to save bigger healing for when Matthias is out. Alright, so 6 heals to Aldris.
Fantastic.
And then, so that's bonus action, healing word. She's just gonna stick with old trusty. It's what she does, and when it comes to damage, and does well. So we're gonna Eldritch Blast this guy. As our action.
Okay, you have advantage on all those attacks.
Oh, sweet. Well, I think it's just one, because, wait.
Oh, just one.
It's just... Oh, no, it's 2 beams. I always forget this. Alright. We're gonna... This is weird. I have to only roll digitally, because I don't have my dice here. Alright, first Eldritch Blast. Why did it only do damage? Weird. Okay, sorry. Roll with advantage. There we go. 20 for the first one to hit.
Nice, that will hit.
And oh, that's not that great. 16 for the second one to hit.
That will miss.
That will miss. Okay, so the first one, let me do damage. Just a normal damage roll.
You are just firing
Ooh.
these blasts off, kind of off of the high, trying to aim towards the face. You see one of them burst on the shoulder, but moss catches. It once again just kind of shies away, like overreacts because it can't see where you're coming from, and swings an arm up. And as it swings out of the way, the other blast just kind of harmlessly sparks off of this natural armor on its forearm.
It does take 14 damage from the first one.
14 points of damage.
Because that first raid did max dam.
You still see some of the fire like catching in the moss on its back, and it lights up. Now, normally Eldritch Blast doesn't really set things on fire. This is a particular nature of the way that you manifest your relationship, your pact. But the sparks that have caught do actually start to catch in the leaves on its back, and you see just this little blooming glow of flame up on the creature, even in a cold of the waste.
And then distance-wise, Kiara wants to be a little bit closer if Matthias does. Whoever brings Matthias out, just so healing will be a possibility. So I'm just gonna. Oh wait, we're only 45 feet away. Okay, we're fine. Maybe we'll move to 30 feet away. So she'll just move up 15 feet. I will do that in a second.
You can't quite see Aldris's face from where you are, but the brief connection that you make with him in that healing word, you can tell that he wasn't dead. He did wake up.
Oh, yay. Okay, excellent.
Great.
All right, that's my turn.
Matthias. At the top of your turn,
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna roll some damage.
Damage? Why? Why would I get damaged? I'm safe inside this mouth pocket.
Okay, you take 17 points of acid damage.
17? Alex, that's too many points. What the fuck? I can't believe that I have to participate in this game willingly that I came to because I love it.
It's time for a GM mutiny.
Wow. Can't
17.
believe this.
Okay, 17 points of acid damage taken, noted, and written down.
You are inside.
I am inside this thing's mouth. I can't see anything. Did you say I was also restrained?
You are restrained. You can feel an uncomfortable pressure. Like, you haven't, but you're not in a stomach, right?
Yes.
But it's just like throat pushing. If you weren't wearing your armor, you are wearing your armor, right?
Yes, he's wearing his armor.
We did say you were. If you weren't wearing your armor, you can tell that it might actually be causing like significant bruising or bone breaking to you.
Oh shit! Damn, got the suck. Okay, see, this is so great. This is great. I like to think of myself as sort of a visitor in your beautiful, beautiful world that you've made for us, Alex.
Thank you.
And there comes a time in every sort of legend smith's life where they have to consider the question of, does this giant monster have a gag reflex? And I have to tell you, I don't know, but I intend to find out. So
fantastic.
Matthias is going to grab his slutty little thigh dagger and is going to attempt to move towards the back of this mouth. And essentially, he knows, like, the gag reflex is triggered by certain places in his throat. He is going to try and do that to this animal, but with a dagger.
All right. Would you give me a flat attack roll? The way that I usually roll on swallowed creatures is that blindness makes it hard to hit what you actually want to hit, since you're feeling things out more than you actually have distance to see.
Yes.
But it is kind of impossible not to hit something when you're inside. So
seems perfectly
advantage,
reasonable to me. So I'm just rolling, but I am rolling an attack roll.
You are rolling an attack roll.
I am. Okay, here we go. Please let me hit. That's a 27.
To hit in the dark?
Yes. With my dagger.
Okay. You catch into something and it just rips underneath you like soft palate flesh.
Yeah.
And there's an uncomfortable kind of gurgling that it's less of a noise and more of a feeling, like the body itself is reacting to whatever you just did.
Yeah. Second attack, I'm gonna try and I roach myself a little deeper, and I'm just gonna straighten my arm out, stab upward, and then pull it towards me, for a second attack. That's a 20.
That'll hit.
I didn't roll damage for the last one. Should I be rolling damage? I'm trying to achieve an effect here,
yeah.
less than do damage.
Give me damage. Damage is important.
Okay. So for the first one, should I smite on a dagger on the inside of this guy's mouth? That's pretty funny to me. First one is 8 points of damage, because it's just a little dagger. And the second one is 10 points of damage. Fuck it, I'll smite. I'll do it. I am pouring smites into this thing. Just Jesus Lord of mercy. Okay, that's 2d8 on a first level smite. Have a little bone shard, motherfucker. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 11 points of radiant damage.
Okay.
As I think he stabs the dagger up into as you said, the back of the soft palate, and sort of rakes it towards him, and it just bone spurs kind of poke out of the skin where the hard palate begins.
Now, Matthias, do you have anything that could do 1 more point of damage to this guy?
I do.
A bonus action. A poison flask.
I mean, I do have a bonus action, Alex.
What can you do with your bonus action? You were wielding a dagger, so you can make a light attack as your bonus action because you are
Double wielding?
Yeah.
Dual wielding, so I got
If
my
you have
sword
a
in
second
one
dagger
hand.
on you.
Well, I have my sword, which is in my hand. I just went for the dagger because I thought it would be easier to move around.
It is easier to move around. Light finesse. Usually, you get a bonus attack with a light weapon if you are dual wielding. You are dual wielding sword and dagger, but you usually cannot dual wield with a sword because it is too big. It doesn't have a light property.
Can
Okay,
you
but
use claws?
What are the rules
you're
anyway?
ridiculously strong. Like, aren't you stronger than usual? So, like,
Okay, give me one more
Yay.
attack roll, Matthias.
yeah.
You are using the hilt of your dagger, so you don't use a d4. It's just 1 plus your strength.
Oh my god.
If you hit.
If you hit.
Stab and then bring it back into the other side.
18?
18. It's the inside, so it doesn't have natural armor, so it will hit.
Okay. Don't do it just because you feel bad for me. You know how I feel about that. I want an honest, I want a
I
clean
don't think
kill.
this is a feeling bad for you moment. I think this is the coolest thing to happen moment.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. All right. So
There's a damage threshold to make it try and spit you back out.
Vom.
And we're 1 point away from the damage threshold.
fuck. Okay. I stab it, and that's 1 plus my strength, which is a +6, so that's 7 points of damage.
7 points of damage with the hilt of a dagger. It's like a cut, and then a thump, and the thump is what does it.
Okay.
Tickled the
I'm gonna
uvula.
need-
I was gonna say like just rockets right up to the back to the uvula.
Okay, this is gonna
I'm
be
just
a
imagining,
D20.
did anyone ever watch Monster House?
Yes. God, I
You know
can't
that
believe they
bit?
got that line in that movie. That shit was crazy. So it's a girl house.
Girl House.
This is a Constitution save with disadvantage because of the wish.
Fuck your constitution.
That is a 1.
And that
Woo!
The answer to your question about gag reflex is not very.
Here we go.
So, I mean, sorry, very bad, very bad. There is a wet heat on your feet that then
Oh.
swells up to surround you, and you've been in nasty locations, Matthias. Like, you've been covered in a lot of goo before, especially over the course of this journey, but this is fully surrounding up your nose as then you pour out of this gray render's mouth alongside a completely dry Madeira.
That
Dice
got
roll
me.
reaction time to plug your nose.
And a number of skeletons, corpses, and just like items pour out of this thing. Like a set of armor that seems to be completely rust colored. There, it just like flies out of the mouth. A ton of boulders, just like rocks and grass and things, and out of nowhere, a squat, dark brown chest, like a traveler's chest, like a hand chest, out of this thing's mouth, in a heap with Matthias, along with a ton of half-digested, like bird feathers. and-
Matthias, thank you so much for being swallowed.
I'm going to the Rendisi. Does anybody want anything?
In the waste, this is what we call the store.
It singes,
Fantasy Costco.
basically singes an acidic hole where everything was because of the stomach acid. So like snow immediately flash melts. You see dirt and grime and a bunch of things like that just in a circle around this thing as it is heaving, kind of falls flat almost to do this. You are still in very close range to teeth, so you do not want to like try and scramble out of there it would almost hit you by accident with an opportunity attack if you moved, but
Good to know. Okay, well, that was an effective turn. I'm pleased with that.
I'm kind of imagining, you know, when a cat is like has a furball and it's doing that little hork noise.
100.
Just like giant and rumbling and terrifying, but it's still that cat sound.
He
You've been, worked out.
forgive me for the disgustingness, but he reaches up and he tears off his goggles because they're the kind of goggles that have a little slit in them because they're snow goggles, so there's definitely
Yeah.
shit in there. Just rips them off and like starts wiping at his eyes to try and get the bile out.
It's stinging your face, stinging your skin. It's like a sunburn, basically, just all over.
Jesus.
Very
It's like-
uncomfortable.
Oh god, it's like opening your eyes in a pool.
Yeah.
Chlorine.
Oh,
The worst pool ever.
Darren's turn.
Come on, Darren.
Go, Darren, go. Let's see. Darren's over there. He's hanging out. The big creature. I don't want Darren to get swallowed by it. That would suck so hard.
Let me at him. Let me do it.
No.
I'll take him down in one hit.
Just the
wouldn't
corners
like
of the
being
pages fold.
I'm
Why don't-
waterproof.
Why don't you try a missile or two?
All right, Darren's gonna cast Magic Missile using one of your first level spell slots.
Sure.
So that is going to be 3 darts of D4s. Do you want to roll that damage for me, Oesh?
Absolutely. Where are my D4s? Non-existent. I'll roll on D&D Beyond. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Clink, 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 clink. Oh, I have the owlbear dice equipped. That's 10 points of damage from Darren.
10 points of
10 points of
damage?
10 whole points. Holy
7
shit,
plus
Darren.
3. Because
Unleash
each
hell.
D4 gets a +1.
the magic. Darren is the sort of swirling, floating visage of Darren. Actually, he wasn't manifested, was he? He was just.
He was manifested, in fact.
He was manifested. Okay.
So I could keep his little book self on my body.
Floats over, and then 3 of the little floating eyes just kind of pling off and up this thing's nose, practically, and then exploding with icy force, and it kind of goes still. Like, the creature seems so overwhelmed in this moment that it stops moving. You're not sure if it's dead or not, but it is
Listen,
single
Not
digit
dead,
HP.
just autistic.
yeah, sometimes you just get overwhelmed. Just gotta take a beat.
Single digit HP. That is
Hell
Darren's
yeah,
turn.
go Darren.
Vice.
Go, Grandma, go.
Valerian, are you alive in there?
Yes.
Vice walks over, stepping gingerly into the acidic, melted pile of offal, and with the unbreaking sword, eye to eye with Warden, where you've ridden this thing down to the ground, takes it, drives it in alongside your sword, and then just pries with a crack sound. And you can see with another just plume of steam and a tiny spurt of blood, the body goes completely still.
Yay! We did it! Now there's a hag.
And now Vice gets all your XP, actually, and she grows 3 levels.
No!
Fuck!
Fuck!
Loves it though, doesn't she? Like,
I wanted to hit level 9 today.
And then she flexes so hard that all her armor falls off, and she ascends.
Oh
Oh
shit!
my god.
How
Bye,
happens when
Vice.
you
Vice.
There-
So crazy.
There she
Goodbye.
goes. She's
I never
going to
needed you
heaven.
anyway.
is there heaven
Heaven
in your
doesn't
world,
exist.
Alex?
She's going to gamer heaven.
Oh
Oh my god. Gamer heaven
But-
definitely exists.
We are now out of combat. The render has fallen. Madeira, in her unique appearance, has not been affected by the bile at all. There's sort of a shimmery, almost like a pink glowing coating over her hunched over form as she steps back, just like not leaving your range even, Matthias, just away from you a touch, and then extends a wrinkled hand to help you up.
Interesting. A hag's hand, huh? Shit. Okay, I feel like his brain starts working and those gears are turning so fast. Oh, there's smoke coming out of his ears. And he is going to, I think, roll over onto his stomach and he'll push himself up onto all fours and kind of come to one knee. But I think he will take her hand.
Such a handsome young martyr.
He sort of like flicks off the goo and looks at her, apparently completely untouched, which is nuts. And
Hag privilege.
Hack privilege. And as opposed to before, where he felt like that immediate necessity to help her, he's now in a space of being like, this person is a threat because I know that this is who Aldris was going after, and I don't really know what her intentions are. Also, she did some fuck shit to me. So he looks at her and just, I think, flat asks, what are your intentions here? And he moves to, like, grip his sword with both of his hands and hold it to the side.
I do not wish to be pursued any longer. Not in my home.
Is Aldris still on the ground?
Aldris has crawled underneath some tree roots at the edge of the clearing here. Still on the ground. Kind of turned over, but hasn't turned invisible, like, just sort of lying and recovering his breath.
I'm gonna let my gaze wander over to Aldris and then look back at her meaningfully and say, I don't think that you have to worry about that for at least a couple of hours.
These hunting dogs can be awfully persistent.
So what would you have us do about it?
A cup of tea, perhaps. Somewhere warm and clean.
Do you know of a place near here with what you're asking for?
Awfully close.
And if we would prefer to go back to camp?
That's fine. There is a strange smile on her face. But I'm gonna say, even with an insight check, Matthias, you just know enough about a creature like this that it's hard to trust anything she would say.
Okay. If... How does she... Hey, Alex, what's the vibe? How strong does she look? Can I get like a... If I do a little up and down, maybe... Can I get like a... On a scale of stomping on an ant to getting stomped like an ant, where are we falling?
Yes. Currently, and all of you can see this, by the way, because she is much larger than she was before. She towers over you. She's about 15 or 16 feet tall, so like even half the height of the render, but withered.
Mother.
Kind of hunched and and covered as well with furs, but a pallid, like soft pink tone to her skin that is similar to the original tone of the fawn. And the hunchback kind of continues into more of still a centaur-y shape. Like it's the 3 legs, the bottom body half, that still remains. But she's got, it's hard to tell if it's horns or like a crown of some kind, but again, similar to the satyr horns, except much longer and kind of bone-like, coming from the head and out from the fur that is covering her like a cloak. The hand that is gripping you is strong but very thin and wrinkled.
Oh, we're still holding hands. Okay, that's nice.
While you're taking a second here, I'm going to ask what the rest of your party is doing in reaction to the beast falling.
Loot his corpse!
I think Oish is a little out of breath, but takes their staff and kind of edges closer to hear this conversation between Matthias and the hag. They seem very interested, as like kind of an opportunistic gleam lights in their eyes, but they don't say anything for the moment.
Okay. Barden, you are on top of the creature as it falls, so you are face to face with Vice now as she is pulling her sword out.
I think she watches Vice do it, and there's this moment of, this is what I read about. This is what I read about people doing, and Vice has done that, and I've done that, but then at the same time feeling the breath go out of this beast underneath her, like I know she's on the head and it's probably a lot of bone, but there must be like a pulse somewhere, and she just takes a minute to just feel it and just let it go still. And that's what she does for a good like minute, because she's just like, I've just killed something giant. And it was a creature and it was a monster, but it was a thing, and I need to think about this for a second because she's never killed something this big.
There's a vibration, a buzzing hum, this feeling that is swelling in you that is alien to your own emotions at this moment, that you realize is the presence of the sword in your head.
You like that, huh? We did it.
My purpose is served.
Does the blade look any different?
Not right now.
Covered in gore.
Covered in gore.
Good. Gonna wipe the blade off and someone else.
Tazriel and Kiara, you two were a little bit further away, probably within 10 feet of each other now at this point.
I think Taz is like watching the situation, seeing Madeira as is, kind of just gives like a look to Kiara, and then is going to hide. I think his plan is just to like slip away, and we should still have the. I think I redid our connection before we had to run towards Matthias, so it's just gonna say in everybody's head, I'm going to make myself scarce, but I'll be around in case we need quick action.
Hell yeah. If no one is taking a look at this loot, I think Oish will also take a look at the loot while listening to this conversation.
Oh yeah, Kiara was gonna go do that.
Oh hell yeah. Go for it.
Kiara wants to move up to be close enough to do heals, but also is not wanting to interrupt, so I think gross curiosity will make her poke at the whatever fell out and this gross chest.
Okay.
Matthias was gonna look over his shoulder to see how everybody else felt about it, and just sees them like pawing through the objects on the ground.
Yeah, basically.
And you don't see Taz. I got a 26.
Yeah.
Oh.
Disappeared.
As you find a really good outlook where you can see the clearing as it has been kind of expanded by the creature knocking down trees. You got a perfect eye on the clearing, but you don't think anyone can see you or tell where you've gone. Great. Kiara, will you make an investigation check? I'll take a separate investigation from you as well.
Oh gosh, this is gonna be great.
You can do it. Guidance on yourself.
That's true. I can guide myself. I'm not holding anything up. I will guide myself. And investigate. Let's see. I always forget I don't have a negative on this. Just nothing.
I only have a +5 to investigation. I only got an 11.
I rolled 9. Let me guide myself. Give me a second. Everything takes longer because I gotta click through it all.
I've got 4 if you want it. I can roll one.
It's okay. 12.
12. Okay.
We do
And
the
wait.
same about. You do a little bit better than me.
Great. The blood of this creature is kind of thick as it's pooling out. I would say if there are any spells that you guys would have that require blood of a foe or blood in general, this is a very good font of it. So consider yourself having refilled anything that would have blood as a component. The claws of this thing, the talons, are rock hard and very sharp. So those could be carved down, used in jewelry decorations to make weapons, anything like that. Same with the teeth, gigantic, probably hard to carry around. But maybe a small one or the tip of one could also be used and cut off, not quite as hard as the claws. The rest of this meat, I'm going to say very loosely, neither of you are able to tell if it would be. It certainly would be attractive to creatures, but...
Makes sense.
So
what about...
that's just the render.
Okay, I was going to say, what about the items? Because I don't actually think I'm looking at the creature. I think I was looking at the shit
I was
spat
going
out.
for the chest and stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
very, very makes a lot of sense.
Oh,
I
because
wanted to...
Kara can't study shit.
Wait,
But look through items? Yes, we could do that.
I think Tabs would have said to one of you, "Hey, get like the bit that you can turn into jewelry. Say, hey, grab some of that for me, please."
Okay. Between the two of you with a 12, you find what seem to be 2 flasks that haven't broken alongside 3 more that are just completely shattered. The tip of these flasks are sealed and marked with a kind of like a snowflake insignia, I would say. You think they're holy water, or at least water that's been blessed by clerics of frost here. So you've got 2 flasks of holy water, a set of manacles, probably more like 3 or 4, but one that is most usable on the skeletons. I think people that might have been left here as some kind of sacrifice to maybe long ago people that worshipped, and these manacles were not digested. I mean, maybe it wasn't that long ago, considering the strength of this thing's bile. So sets of manacles. You immediately had eyed that chest. Again, this must have been treated or sealed to not immediately fall victim to the digestive organs of this creature. As you pick it up, it is kind of waxy, like there's this wax seal on the small chest. It's hand-sized, like 2 hands could hold it, like this, right? You have that. All of the armor and weapons are half melted, except for the armor that seems to be rust-colored. As you look at it, it is not actually rust that is coating it, but there is some kind of reaction that happened between the acid and the armor that caused it to turn a red color. But it seems to be fully usable, human-sized. Unsure if it would fit Matthias, but maybe a 5 to 6 foot tall humanoid.
Cool. We know
And
a 5 to 6 foot tall humanoid.
Is it like...
And it's red, you say?
And it's red.
Curious.
Is it like light, medium, heavy armor?
This would be medium armor.
I look at it and then I glance to Kiara and kind of like size her up a little bit.
Yes, you're like,
Holding it
well, I
up
think,
like a dress.
Yeah.
well, given that not very long ago, Kiara's armor did get melted, essentially, by oil, Kiara will toss the chest to Awaish, for someone smarter than Kiara to figure out how to open it. And Kiara's gonna look at Matthias, keep looking at Matthias to see if like anything's changed there, but he seems to have that handled. But then she's gonna examine the armor.
Yeah.
Right.
There is a pile of melted together gold, silver, and copper that probably in total equals about 70 gold pieces. But it's just like melted. It's
Give it to
like not a
jeweler.
gold bar.
Kinda.
You can make it
But if you
into
have a jeweler's
jewelry.
kit,
It's
you
fine.
could separate it.
If I had a
The jeweler's
nickel
kit,
for
I could
every
separate
time
it?
I found
Yeah.
a melted together pile of money in a D&D game,
2
I'd have
nickels!
2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it is weird that it happened twice.
I might. Okay, my active proficiency right now is jeweler's tools, so I know what I'm doing when
Eh.
I'm heading back to camp. So
Hell yeah.
amazing.
I'd also. I'm imagining when we go back to Matty, we're going to continue on. Can I. If the beast has gone down, is there space between
Yeah.
the beast and the cave? Like the
Yes.
top lip?
You can
I
see
think
back into the
Barney's
cave now.
gonna like just quickly group chat. I'm just gonna see what's inside, if there's any space. Like
Don't
it
go
could
alone.
be hiding more things.
Don't go alone.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be fine.
In the
I'll be
head.
fine. It's dead. It's dead, right?
But just take Darren. Can you just
Oh.
follow? Thank you.
A sort of a little bit smaller, less ornate, now that you're out of combat, spectral image of Darren floats alongside you, Warden.
Hi, buddy. You coming with?
I see all.
Oh, sure
I know that's a fucking lie.
Uh,
I've seen your perception score.
He gets so sassy when he's manifested. He's like, "Oh, I'm
I'm so
perfect."
cool.
I mean, he
Yeah,
does
I'm
look
gonna-
hot.
I've still got spider climb still running, so I'm just gonna
Yes, so
basically
you can
crawl.
just
How much like
travel over.
space is there between the like the top of the cave?
A
and
good
the
10
body?
feet or so.
Oh, I can just walk. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in and see if there's anything I can find.
Remind me, do you have
Laid
Dark
out.
Vision novel?
Blind got the sword
There
out.
it is.
Light on, 10-foot radius.
Okay.
Because also, yeah, going into
Uh,
a cave without a weapon, smart.
As you're glancing around quickly, you hear this soft conversation continue behind you, but your eyes are immediately drawn to first the runic marks that Awash had left in the outside of the cave. This weird imprint, like a distorted version of their tattoos that's been scarred in.
Cicerone, right?
And then
Do I know what it says?
it's impossible to read.
I will also
It's
say
not
it's not
really
just Cicerone. It's
Oh, it's a mix.
it's a nasty mix of different things. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going.
But the
It says,
The-
"Eat my shorts."
It does.
Talk shit.
but you notice deeper within the cave that there are these kind of scratches that actually do appear to be shapes of some kind. And then a little bit
Shapes.
further and deeper, kind of unearthed by the creature pulling itself out, there's scratch marks where it has, like pulled itself out of the cave. And then there's sort of like side gap, right? This side tunnel that's kind of bulbous to the side where its body wouldn't have hit, where these scratches are smaller. And there are these soft colors that accompany them as you raise your sword to light it.
Colors like paint, or colors like rock has different colors.
Like a kind of staining, like a paint of some kind.
Fuck yeah. Describing this as I'm going. Do you want me to roll investigation? I'm gonna keep looking around.
Give me a perception check.
Yeah. Also, sorry to go off. This is just very cool. A sappy.
No
Oh,
one can go off alone
I'm using
except me.
I'm using an inspiration. That was fucking terrible.
Okay.
Oh, that was a 19, so that's a 25.
25. Excellent. The images
That was a
resolve
9.
together as you step a little further towards the back of the cave from the front, because the first one that you recognize is very similar to the creature you just saw. It's just the outline of a big hulking beast, right? These forelimbs, this big head, the multiple eyes are kind of scratched in and dotted with white. But then stepping back away from this creature is a set of smaller versions of it. that go from hunched over to more and more humanoid. So first this hunched over creature, and then standing a little taller, and then a little taller and smaller compared to the other ones, and then smaller and smaller back and forth until the final images are just a set of humanoids, like loose outlines. They're not really stick figure-ish, but they're more like just kind of a loose upside down U for a body and then a circle for a head, and there are a number of them together.
I puts the sword on the floor. The sketchbook is coming out. The book is coming out to try and write this down. I think I think the renders could change shape, or something could change shape into the renders. I'm drawing it. These are paintings. It's in a side tunnel. Did someone live here? Put it away. I'm continuing. Is there any more?
The rest of the cave towards the back is mostly... doesn't seem to be very stable. It's like dirt and more bits of decay and animal stuff that has been, left in here as this thing hibernated. You can tell there was a big space here that recently collapsed as it emerged, because it doesn't often emerge from this, but they're just buried in the dirt with your super high perception. There seem to be broken shards of some kind, like a jar or a vessel from here, and then a very soft gleam of something kind of coppery, like a piece of bent copper wire, maybe an earring.
I want to pick it up, look at it very gently.
Yeah.
I've got my scarf, one of the scarves from my family. I'm going to very gently put everything into it, like folding over.
These seem to be very old. The nature of the heat of this creature's body, maybe something about the coldness of the waste have preserved it, but even as you're picking up these pieces, you could tell they would shatter with too much pressure.
Shit. Describing this, Oish, maybe you could help me work out where these are from. Copper, there's like a copper earring, I think, and some shards. Just really looking at it and just okay.
Give me a moment. And then you see the little eye and Darren go swing. Whoa.
Oh, I forgot you could do that. Yeah, have a look. Just bottoming the most gentle that she can be, considering her her strength. Just
anything I notice about these things outside of what Barden's already picked up?
You studied history. These are very old.
I'm something of a historian myself.
Something of a historian. Very, very old. Hard to say how old. The shape of the earring resembles to you it's slightly beetle shaped, I would say. It's kind of crumpled a little bit, but it does give almost like a scarab-esque kind of...
It's all connected. Everything's connected.
It's beetles all the way down.
It's beetles all the way down. How Kafka-esque. Okay. Slightly resembles a scarab. There's nothing else that I get from this.
It's just too faded and too old.
Yeah. Can I look at the drawings that Barden has put down in her book?
You can get a quick glance from Darren, but I'm going to say at this point,
Sure.
whatever's happening here, the conversation with Matthias would be
Too
kind
interesting.
of continuing on.
Yeah.
And you might be distracted by that happening.
Fair.
So, Matthias, you look over the hag, you get a good sense of her. You can tell she's big, she's much taller than you, leaning down, hunched over. She has this strange smile. Like she's trying her best to be hospitable and friendly.
Again, he looks over his shoulder to try and do a, what do you guys think? And everyone's just dicking around with the corpse, and that in itself is an answer. So he like sighs and turns back to her and says, once we have finished looking for resources, I believe we can find a place where we will all feel comfortable in our safety. Yes?
Entrepreneurs.
He does attempt to take his hand back.
She squeezes it for a moment and then releases.
Mm.
Did you know, you have fairly low blood pressure?
I did not know that.
You should eat more protein.
I will take that into consideration.
Get a free blood pressure check whenever you want with this lady.
Well, if her intention was to unsettle me, she succeeded. He does not turn his back to her. Instead, he backs up, keeping eyes, and then is seeing everybody over doing shit. He's actually gonna go to Aldris, and let everyone know in the group chat that he's gonna go see Aldris, as he's waiting for everybody to wrap up. I'm gonna kneel down next to him. How's he doing?
At first, it looks to you like he's coughing up blood, but then you realize his lips are smeared with red of some, like, or redness of some kind. You glance down to his hand, and there is just a handful of berries that he is pulling away from his mouth.
Oh. Is that... Did you just have those on you?
Yes.
Are you alright?
I've been beat before.
The hag wants a tea with us. I don't know if that includes you.
This does not assuage my suspicions as to you, but I doubt I would be invited.
Was it not enough that I got thrown into the mouth of that thing in an effort to keep you out?
You seem more fine than many would be under the circumstances.
She said that she didn't want to be pursued anymore. I can't.
Do you feel pity for that thing?
You talking about the hag or the creature we just decimated?
The hag.
Pity. And Matthias pauses like he hasn't really considered it. I felt something before. I know now that it wasn't necessarily a feeling springing from my own free will, but rather one that was influenced. Why?
You seem to know personally the lives that are lost in these frozen lands. That thing there is not just the knife at their throats, but the hand wielding it. Not just a taker of lives, but an orchestrator. Hags are devious creatures. They lie and conceal and manipulate, and right now, her power peaks. Foolish of me to pursue, then, but also the most crucial time.
So, what would your ideal plan be then?
If you go willingly into her den, not all of you are leaving.
We have the option of walking away.
Do you?
She said that she would allow us to walk away. Ideally, that would be the truth. But to be honest, I simply wasn't anticipating that we would sleep tonight. Or even maybe tomorrow. And would simply move as quickly as we could away from here. I need to... And he actually, flinches a little bit as everything sort of settles and he's down on the ground talking to this guy. And he flinches towards the side that Aldris hit with the arrow and kind of, puts a hand up against it. And pauses as he, bites on the inside of his cheek in apparent pain. And
says, you're
says,
still poisoned, aren't you?
And says, I think that you gave me more than I was bargaining for.
Even through all of this, there's a little smile that he can't hide that flashes onto his face.
Fucker.
Even, obviously more injured than you as he is. The force of the creature hitting him, he's held together with his own potent, natural magic and whatever Kiara did. Well, if you want, you can tell that thing I will not be pursuing. I know when I'm beat.
Is he bullshitting me?
Give me an insight check.
Okay. I'm so good at this. Fucking Christ. That's a 6!
A 6? You're not sure.
Hard to tell.
You can only tell he's hurt. He's ouching.
The only other thing that we could possibly do is to do something now, and I don't think that any of us are in the position to do that.
My best advice, whatever manner of shelter you can concoct, you should not do it here.
I think that our camp, above table, I think that our camp is a little ways away. So me,
Yeah.
Sloan, Alex, explaining this to you is that he was anticipating they would go pack their shit. They were intending on sleeping, but just don't sleep and keep going.
Ah, okay, got that. Red.
To Aldris, though, Matthias says, and what's your intention? To find Laura?
Yes, Laura and I have a method of healing that involves trees and
Oh.
their
Moon and trees? Okay. Alright. How many hit points? Hey, on a scale of 1 to, I don't know, if I were to guesstimate maybe 95, where would he be? Also, how close was I? It's important that I know.
Pretty close, I think.
Fuck yeah.
Let me double check.
I'm a genius.
Maybe 40 away.
Oh, that wasn't close at all.
No.
Okay.
You would say maybe 15 or so.
Jesus Christ, dude. Damn. Okay. In that case, I'm gonna do a little lay on hands on him. Just gonna pop him for 10 hit points.
Do you boop his nose?
I don't boop his nose, but I do caress his
Oh.
cheek romantically.
Oh.
No, I don't do that. I reach, Matthias reaches forward and
Yes.
places one massive hand on his chest, and kind of pushes him back into the tree.
To his credit, he does not flinch.
Something fruity's happening here. So he gets 10 more hit points. And Matthias says, in that case, I think that we are splitting, unless you'd like to come with us to where our camp is and then split off to Laura. Because I think we camped separate from each other, right? Is that what happened?
Fairly close, but like same area, not same.
Yeah.
Camp.
Same campgrounds, different campsites.
Got
Yeah.
it. Cool. Okay. All right.
And Laura was also watching over Neve, since you wanted Neve. not to
Oh,
come.
Jesus. Yep. Okay. All right. We gotta go. All right. Okay. All right. And based off of his advice, we're just gonna leave. We're not gonna talk to the hag. But I will go back to the hag.
You're gonna leave.
Matthias, you turn back and you see a tall elven figure who has approached the hag.
Why
All right.
can't you got to talk to her?
Yeah, it's true.
While Awaish is going up and walking to talk, I want to get another eye on Tazriel. You've been observing all of this. You also have a good sense of the general forest surroundings, Taz.
Mm-hmm.
The noise has mostly kept anything else that might be out at night at bay, but the hot, wet smell of flesh is obvious and strong. And you're also starting to hear more like, not close by, but like, if not howling, then hooting sounds, steps, just like trees brushing, the forest coming alive around you again, now that the noise of battle has subsided.
Taz will just say and said to everybody, we've got to get going. The blood, the meat, it's attracting things.
And Taz, I'm going to say, because you're keeping an eye out, if there are any small creatures that you'd be easily able to deal with, say a malevolent pixie or something, I'm going to say you are loosely warding.
I have a very important question for you, Alex.
Yes.
From where we are to the way back to our camp, is there like space and areas that he can use his spider climbing on and just be kind of walking like out of view of the homies, but still going?
Yeah, I would say so. The forest is not thick enough that you could like climb over canopy, right? It's more of it's a looser forest than that, but probably up along a ridge line because you are getting closer to a mountainous area. So it would divert you maybe a mile or so to the side of your companions, but you can find a rocky ridge line with some trees kind of to the side that you can get more of an eye watching over them as they try.
Okay, I will relay that to the group. You won't be seeing me, but I'll be keeping an eye, and I'll let you know if anything happens.
Man after Eldris's heart.
Mm-hmm.
I can climb on things now!
Oh.
Great.
Oh, before Barden leaves the caves,
Yes.
because I would want to do it. She definitely touches the paintings. Cause it's like, you know, when you go to a gallery and you see the thickness of the paint, you're just like, oh, I want to touch it. I think there's just a moment where like Barden reaches out to touch it and then shifts into their normal shape, because how often are they going to get to do that? And just touches it with their full hand and just feels it for a second, and then
You eye the white paint, the outlines of these humanoids. There's this one in-between stage where they're not quite on all fours, but just leaning forward, long and thin. And then you step back.
before we go to the conversation, just as like a side thing that doesn't need to take up time, if Maddie mentions that he's poisoned, because we didn't see that happen, I don't think, Kiara will cast Lesser Restoration on him, but he's going to have to communicate that. But that's it.
Great. Barden, the kind of like mental mark of where this place exists, you think that maybe going deeper into the mountains, if there was a people that lived here or that had a connection to this beast, it's most likely just based on, again, that you spent time in Noir and Obara, and you know that like your Furbolg family do enjoy living in maybe previously lived in sort of like caves, crystalline caves, etc. So the
Cooler.
wastes are generally inhospitable. Finding warmth in caves or underground.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and then you can
Head
peel
on
out of the cave. I would say you also notice the same things about the Grey Render. Like if you don't have any magical spell components or like need blood or anything, you don't think that this thing's flesh is inherently edible to people.
I
You
want
got
to
a good
try and
sense
take
of
up some of the
smell.
hide though.
You can try and take up
Because
some of
if
the
it
hide,
had the
though.
natural armor, then that could be useful, or we could trade it.
Yeah. The most useful. This thing would make great leather. You don't have the makings of a leather, kit, like a leather smith.
Well, we are
right?
going to a place where there's a bunch of smiths going on. There's going to
You
be
are
a
going
tanner
to
there.
a place where there might be a tanner. So it's nasty work, but your sword cuts through better than most other things would be able to. If you want to maybe mark out probably like, I would say 5x3 section of hide, that's the most you're able to get that's really workable, clean, useful. So render hide, 5x3 feet, about 15 feet of render hide.
We can cover just like as like get to Kiara, just like, would you mind helping me out later? I don't want to stink up the tent.
Oh yeah.
Okay, great. As all of you are doing this, Maddie was talking. Oh wait.
Yes. It wouldn't let me unmute for a moment. Yeah, as Matthias goes to help Aldris, Awaish takes the opening that they were kind of waiting for and strides up to this hag. And with all of their 13 hit points, holds out a hand and says, Awaish.
The grip comes to you. It is strong and firm, despite the wrinkled flesh. Madeira.
I have gathered from some of our traveling companions that you deal in blood magic and curses, yes? There's
It
no
is the
need
correct
to be
assumption
shy.
to make.
I'm interested in some information.
She kind of settles back a little bit from this hunched state, from this, leaning forward state. You see the furs kind of swing back, and around her neck are a series of numerous necklaces, trailing sort of beaded cords, a lot of like almost scarf-like elements as well. And sitting among them is a necklace that's very similar to the one that you wear.
Okay.
Not the personal one, but the one that protects you from being scryed upon.
Right. Yeah, exactly. As I said, I am interested in knowing what you or your, shall we say, siblings know of hereditary curses.
I'm gonna make an insight check here.
Ah.
Do you want to give me a Constitution check?
Oh, Constitution check?
Yes.
Okay, sure. Oh no.
What was it?
5.
Then she leans into you. Your pulse just quickened.
Nice trick. It often does when I'm excited about something. And I'm not afraid to hide that from you.
Hereditary curses. Those are a bit of a specialty.
One you know something of?
Yes, very well.
I know what you are. I am willing to make a trade.
Oh. Oh. We'll see if you have anything I'm interested in.
You enjoy blood. What about life?
She digs her thumb into your palm with this sharp claw fingernail.
Mhm.
And you see a bit of blood well up. And then she leans forward, still
Push it
maintaining
into
eye
her mouth.
contact with you, and licks it up to taste.
Yeah, literally Awish pushes it to as she's like, oh, gripping. And like, a lot of people are like, no. Awish is like, yeah, bitch. I know what I'm here for.
We can talk. I have an interest.
Good.
You taste like secrets.
You trade in those too.
Then she releases your hand and kind of turns as Matthias looks over to the two of you. One of you is joining me for tea. Who else?
We go where they go.
Barden's intrigued.
Is anybody telling Taz this is happening? He doesn't know. He's
In the
watching
group chat,
you.
Barden's just like,
In the group
oh my
chat.
God, Awish just fucking made them eat, drink their blood. Oh, okay.
Alex, that was truly horrifying and terrifying. I myself was feeling palpitations. My character could not. But I want you to know that was very scary.
Yeah.
And then Vice stalks up behind Awaish and just shoves, like not forcefully, not trying to be mean, but like hand on the shoulder and then pushes to turn them away. That was very stupid.
And
Hand out to Matthias as well to kind of gather him in a little bit.
The
I look
hag
over-
or Vice?
Sorry, Vice.
Oh, okay.
I
will
look
also
over my
say-
shoulder at Aldris, and
He's standing up.
I say, I suppose we're going to tea. Don't wait up for us,
I won't.
but don't leave.
Can
with
I
Eve.
true.
I don't care about your choir.
I know you don't care. I'm just saying, don't, like, when you travel, I know that you and Laura are traveling together, please stay within at least, like, a day's range. Because we're going to need to get her back.
Oh,
If we
okay.
fucking live. Says under his breath.
I want to make a mental connection with Matthias too.
Yes.
Yeah. Aldris
Yeah.
then kind of steps away, and you lose sight of him, similar to Taz in the shadows. Got that ranger still.
Oh.
1 second. Kiara was saying something, and I wanted to hear what that was.
Well, because Kiara was waiting for Matthias to step away from Aldris, and so when he does, Kiara wants to see how messed up he is.
He's about he's a little over 50% right now. A little over 50%.
But are you visibly poisoned? What's going on with that?
I don't know, Alex. What do I look like? Do I look sickly?
He is
Frail?
pink all over, like burned pink all over. So certainly that, but
Oh, I got a nice little peel. I got a chemical
you
peel.
got a chemical peel going on.
Oh,
amazing.
You're gonna
man.
be fresh as a baby's bottom in like 2 days.
It just
But
pulls like
right
a
now-
strip of Matthias jerky
Oh,
off of his
no.
forehead.
Yeah.
Why did you have to call it jerky? Why you like this?
Because I'm nasty and I like to make you uncomfortable.
The poison is not like a gonna kill you in a day kind of poison. It's he's not obviously poisoned. The other
Okay.
damage looks worse at first.
Pooja, I promise you that he will tell you eventually.
What Kiara will say as Matthias walks up is, I've never really had anxiety before, but you constantly running away and getting yourself almost killed has given it to me.
He looks genuinely very concerned by that statement. And like it looks guilty. I don't know if you've seen him look like guilty before, but he does like his face betrays just like, ugh, that one hit him right in the heart. And he says, can we talk about this maybe later?
Okay, we can talk about it later. And while they're walking, Kiara will put I don't know what, grab his pinky taloned hand now? I don't know your colors, buddy. And cast Cure Wounds on you as we're walking.
Oh, Cure Wounds.
Yeah.
As Barden, you step back over to the group, Madeira's head just kind of swing towards you a little bit. You see the little tilt, the antler, the pink but wrinkled skin. And you?
Kind of looking around at everyone. I'll go where they go. But there's probably there's a look in Barden's eye that the trying to be stoic does not hide the fact that she's very excited at the concept of meeting a hag. And all the stories in the book, she's just like, yeah, I'll go where they go.
That is quite a weapon.
It is.
What was Awaish touching my mind with?
In that moment where the hag says, "Oh, one of you is coming for tea," and Matthias looks over, Awaish does connect with Matthias's mind and say, "I will follow your judgment in this matter, but I do need to confess that she possibly has information that I desperately need."
Yeah. Oh, well, all right. Then we're doing this.
Where the fuck is the rogue?
Quick question. You connected with Matthias via our little.
Yeah, technically, I mean, Taz, you can
Taz can hear it.
As soon as Vice says, "Where's the rogue?" Matthias is just like, "What rogue?"
What
Eye contact
rogue?
with Vice. What rogue?
Oh, I must have been mistaken.
Must have been the wind.
Laura's back at camp.
Fuck me. So, oh god. Upon seeing this and knowing what's happened, is going to keep an eye. Is going to be within like dashing distance,
Okay.
but it's still hiding. And if they go into like a like a cave or something, or whatever, if they're not out in the open, he will follow like quickly behind, but still hiding. He is
Yes.
keeping to the shadows.
Madeira does begin walking. So, and I also want to keep an eye on our time here. So one thing that I will say is that Owishu had pinpointed the location of a magical item as you were traveling previously. Did you point it out to Tasriel? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
You said something in the group chat about having to come back to a tree.
Yeah,
Yes, I did. I did say that.
You were like, "There's magic here." I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, I marked it with magic, and I said there's something I wanted to come back for. I also I know that Madeira will start walking in a direction, and we don't have to like roll if we're cutting off here. Awash will suggest that little magical circle that we found earlier instead of wherever Madeira is leading us.
That is the direction she is leading you.
Amazing. I'm gonna go
Magical
there.
no fighting ring.
Perfect.
Oh, Matthias also will like hold a hand up to Oash with like a questioning look on his face, and the sort of frosty energy sort of swirls around the hand. He's like, "Lay on hands. Lay on hands."
High five.
Whoa.
High five. High five.
Don't leave me hanging. God, imagine
Dad, make it quick.
He sort of gently claps her on the shoulder, and 10 hit points to you.
Well, a little shudder, but otherwise, okay.
Little shivies.
Little
The
shiver,
interesting
shudder.
thing about this, Oash, is that feels familiar in like it's one of the least uncomfortable because it is quite literally your strength returning to you.
Right. Yeah. We've I think we've established that before. Mm-hmm.
We're
Yes,
also
I don't mean
exchanging
just
shit.
the-
You like sacrificed your
Yeah,
health
that's what
to
I mean.
me, and Matthias is like,
Oh,
take
that's
some
gay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Passing
love
the
that.
HP around like
Just
the same
passing
$20.
it around.
Passed around in mutual aid.
oh
Um,
man.
Lovely. I also want to say, Warden, as you begin to travel, walking here, the like humming pleasure from your sword has softened a little bit, and there's another quiet sort of nudge at your mind with this voice, Sire. I saw in that moment one of your allies.
What do you mean?
You are rebuilding the order.
Aldris?
No. The woman.
Who? Describe them. Tell me.
Horned and red.
Wait, I could just be being a dumbass right now. Should I roll?
It's Vice.
Oh! Because she was helping me.
Yes.
She'd be worthy of that. Very much. And she is a great warrior.
Yes.
I'm glad you see it. And I'm glad that she's working with me.
You always worked better with the help of others.
she wasn't alone.
I am always here.
Always had you. That's good. Well, not planning on being alone. Thank you. I think as they walk though, she does like put like a hand on Vice's shoulder as like very quiet, like like we did good, like you know, the nightly version, the way it's just like
Vice looks at you and grins.
Grins back.
And then it just kind of like shoves you a little bit with the shoulder in a very friendly way.
She
seems to also have a energy about her, a sense of like pride or accomplishment, a heavy breathing that's like resembles your excitement when you find a really good book.
Satisfaction.
Yeah.
Nudges her back. Keeps walking. Feel good.
Okay. I think I'm gonna leave us here for today.
On our travel to tea time.
Tazriel trailing behind secretly as you move with this
Thank God.
hag through the woods. We will hopefully see you again soon, but if we do not, I want to wish all of you who've been watching today very happy holidays. We are so excited to be together whenever we can be, and we love playing, but we also know that it is a time of year to spend with family, loved ones, friends, so I hope you all are doing that. Big thanks to One More Multiverse for our maps. We actually have some friends still over at that we got to see recently, and that was really cool, so definitely check out the new stuff that they're doing soon. I think they have a mobile game coming. You can find that at One More Multiverse. And then a big thanks to Soundtail for our music. Anything else that anyone wants to add?
The only other thing that I have to add is please never shut up about what's happening at Palestine.
Yes, thank you.
I don't really have a lot of good words to say about it, but all I think I really want to say, and I think that we all are pretty comfortable with saying this, is like, if we don't stop talking about it, eventually something's gotta happen. So, you know, at the very least, do not give people the comfort of sitting down and shutting up.
Thanks, Phone.
That's all I have to say about that.
Absolutely.
So,
awesome. And on that note, thank you all so much for being here, and we'll see you next time.
bye.
Bye.